Hi, and very warm welcome. To this session, we are going to learn how to set up the AWS CLI so that a user can do the programmatically execution of the commands or set of commands uh, in order to consume the AWS services offering via AWS CLI. So for that, first thing we are going to do is to create an IAM user, and also to download the root for him. So that would be the access key and secret key for his account. And second thing would be the final objective will be to set up the AWS CLI account by downloading the AWS CLI tool for Windows. I'll be doing for Windows, but I'll also leave you with the references for Linux or Mac if you are a Linux or Mac user. So we'll set up the CLI and then configure the environment so that we are able to use the AWS CLI to execute the AWS CLI compatible commands. So let's get started. First, we should be able to log into the AWS Management Console using admin account or the root account. So how to create the admin account for root account, you can watch my another video that exists. By the best practice, basically we should avoid using the root account. So if you have not set your admin account as an alternative to the root account, please follow my video and set it up. So let's get started by clicking over the services and going to the IAM, which is under security, identity, and compliance. Once you click on the IAM, you should see this dashboard loading. So next thing we are going to do is to add a user which will be having the programmatic access on his account. This user, I'm going to set it as a dev1 or developer1, and then going to create his account with programmatic access as a access type, which will allow him to use his AWS CLI or API or SDK to consume the services. He'll be able to do so by using the access key ID and secret key, secret access key, which will be generated in the next couple of clicks, right? So that is the next moment. Once we have a user added and his account set up, by the time we'll have his access key, secret key. If not, then we'll create one for his account. So this is the way you should make him giving the access on AWS API CLI SDK, and then move to the permissions window, where you can either choose the group. If you have already created the group for developers, then you can directly assign the group, which will give him the access to the what a different developer should get it. For example, all the tools, developer tools like S3, RDS, DynamoDB, IAM itself, and a couple of others, which will make sense for him to get the access on. So the access group for that with the customized policy associated with the roles must be set up. So that will make your life more easier, and it is going to be more efficient process if you have to do for more than one user at a time. So it's suggested to create a group, associate all the appropriate roles which has the appropriate policies internally, and the policies are going to specify whether user will have the access on the S3 as a what kind of access, whether he can read, write, or do complete full activity on it. So such policies should be kept it in the customized role, and then role should be associated to the group, and user should have the group instead of we are going to choose the one policy at a time, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose the third option, because I do not have any user existing, or at least the dev user existing. from whom I can copy his policy and give it to this guy, but I don't have any users, so I can't be able to do that. So I'm jumping to the third one, where the user, I'm directly associating the policies, which is the inbuilt policies available here in the IAM user creation windows, right? So this is the all inbuilt one, or the one that comes from the original source of the AWS, but alternatively you can create a policy with your custom rules. So that's the one more way of doing it, which we'll learn in a different video. So for now, for the scope of this video, we are going to stick to the attach existing policies, which is the original policies coming from the AWS side. That's the inbuilt one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this guy, the developer, as a S3 access, and I'm going to not allow him to create the bucket or object, but he can only use the S3 bucket as a read guy, which means he'll be able to see the bucket and he'll be able to download and see the file. So that's the only access I'm going to give him, which will provide read-only access to all buckets via the AWS Management Console. I'm also going to give him a couple of more permissions, which will be related to RDS. So I'm giving him the RDS full permission so that he can create a database and do whatever he wants to do. So I'm giving RDS full access for data, and as well as complete access as on the control of the whole database from the database admin as well. So next would be, this is the two things, but you can choose as many things makes sense for you. Maybe probably he'll be also able to look into Elastic Cache. So Elastic Cache, I'm giving some access. There's the full access, but maybe his program is only going to read the Elastic Cache data, not going to write back. If that is the case, then I should give the full access, which will allow him to read and write back and forth. So these are the sample of policies, or these are the policies list which you can choose according to the user role or user responsibility that he is expected to do. Next thing is to tag it. It is very important to tag your resources so that you can directly do the queries as a filtration, apply some kind of enforcement or modification if you want to execute. For example, if I want to change the permission for this user or any user who has certain tags, I can group them and do it in a bulk. So if I want to give every developer user who has the who has the tag as a developer, named key name as a developer, if I want to give a certain permission or revoke certain permission, I can do it using the APIs or CLI or SDK in as at once. So that's the kind of conveniency I can get out of tagging. I can also get the benefit of using the tagging on monitoring. Suppose if I want to monitor individual rows, I can use the tag for efficient monitoring. So I would recommend to use the tags. You can use as many tags to make it possible for the filter to work very efficiently. So you can add multiple tags instead of adding one tag. So there's a window where you will be able to review whatever you have taken up. This is what we have taken, 4 different policies, which says RDS2 policy and policies, and S3 one policy, and finally one Elastic Cache full access policy, right? So I'll go ahead and create a user with this set of policies. This user going to be a developer user. So this is what I was talking about. This is the access key and secret key, which is created. So this is the only chance I have to download the access key and secret key. If I lose it, then I have to recreate it. So I'll just download for this user. And this is what the URL for the console. So since I have not given him the console access, console is the UI of the AWS, so I have not given a UI access. This user is a more programmatic user who will be having the access to CLI. So what I'm going to do is to just stop this over here, and which is my developer one, and his credential I have downloaded already here, which will be filled up with two things primarily for him, which is access key ID and secret key ID. I'm least bothered about the URL which is given for console, because this user is a programmatic user. So these are the two important information for that user while he is interacting with the AWS. Rest of the things are not that required at the moment. So I'm going to close this one. I'll just review the user. This is his different roles, and this is what the one tag that we have created, but definitely we should use more tags than one. So there will be many such things over here. So once we are done half the part, then we should start with the process of setting up the CLI. For CLI, AWS CLI, we should download the AWS CLI tool from the Amazon. So let's do that. There is a certain URL for Windows that I'm following. I'll be keeping the same URLs into the description, so you'll get those details directly from the description of the video. So here, according to your platform, you should download either of the version. So this is the CLI MSI file, executor file directly, so which is the Microsoft installer. For 64-bit and for 32-bit machine, the older version of the machines, you can choose this. So use the link accordingly. Once you click over here, you should see the MSI downloaded. I should navigate and go to the place where the MSI is downloaded. So this is my AWS CLI 64-bit Python version 3, which has the Python and Pig internally bundled, so you do not have to explicitly do it. It will take care of everything. So double clicking on MSI file will help me to start the installation process. You have to be a little patient to see the next button activating. So this is just warming up internally to make the setup wizard fully coming up for you, so that you can interact and start installation. So next window, you should see the license acceptance. So after clicking that, you should be able to click on the next and choose the place where you want to install it and what all the things you want. So we are looking for all of the things. So we are not going to make any modification. We go with the default one. But maybe you would like to choose a different path than this, then please go ahead and change it. If not, then go ahead and in the next window, you will see the install. You should be logged in to your machine as an admin, because this is going to make some changes on your platform. So once you click on the install, this will start copying, installing the mandatory file for the AWS CLI into the path that we have selected. So please go ahead and click on the install and complete the process. I have already having the AWS CLI, so I'm not going to do this. So at the end of this installation, which I'm completing it, you should see the finish button, and you should have the AWS CLI inside your Windows machine up. But you would like to set up the environment path for the installation, so you should be able to run the AWS CLI command from anywhere. So currently, what you need is, once you are done with the installation, next thing would be to start the CMD and then execute the AWS command with the versions just to verify if the AWS CLI is installed properly, and this will give you the CLI version and the Python version as a return, along with the version of the compatibility for or installation of the CLI. Plus also the Boto library, which is Python library support for AWS. So this is the engine which is running from the Python behind the scene to compile and interact with your AWS services. So here we are done with the AWS installation, AWS CLI installation, and AWS CLI installation is working for us successfully, and the version proves. By any chance, suppose if you do not see this command working properly for you, you see the AWS is the unrecognized command, which will be unaccepted, by the command prompt. Then in that case, what you should do is you should go to the location you have installed AWS CLI. So your AWS CLI installation default path is this, and you should see this exe will be there, executable binary will be there, and then hit this, and then do the AWS version. Should be working over here properly. So the problem is so here AWS -- version. And if this command works, then the problem is the only problem that you have is this path is not set into the environment. So you should go and set it in a path variable. So once you set it, you should be able to use it. So let's close this and continue from the old one. So what I'm going to do next is to configure the AWS CLI. For that, I should be using the AWS configure command, and this will be allowing me to set the access key and secret key for this account. So since I'm using the AWS CLI for different account, this is showing the access key, existing access key and secret key, which I should be overriding now. So I'll go to the download folder where I have already downloaded the credentials CSV file, open it up, and then copy the CLI access key, secret key. I should take the access key ID, go back and paste over here. So you will see this is not ending with the same letters over here. So this is a different one. This will override, and then also do the same thing with secret key. Bigger, and then select and paste it over here, which will help me to override the secret access key. And the region I can put it any region. So wherever my command, whatever the AWS CLI command I'm executing, it will take the default region from here. So this is the default region that I need to set it. So AP South 1 is possibly Mumbai, I guess. Let's verify. So what I need to do, I have to come out of this global service. Maybe and be it in the home. So this is the place where I'll be able to see the regions actively, and I think AP South 1 should be, yep. So AP South 1 is nothing but the Mumbai. So this is pointing to AP South 1, which is Mumbai, and if I want to keep this same, I'll keep it. Otherwise, if I want my region to be something else, so maybe North Virginia, so then I should be taking the North Virginia region from here, which is US East 1. Copy paste US East 1 or type, and then go to the next. is the output. Most of the command when you run and expect some output, you can set default output format, which you can anyway override through the commands if they support to get a different output type. But I would suggest you to keep it none as of now, and for that you should just hit the enter to move, and repeat the same command once again to verify the data is set properly. Your configure command is accepting all the information that you have given. So you see this last for alphanumeric N34X is denoting to the same access key ID. And if I move, suppose I do not want to override it, I will not give any new value. I'll just go with the by accepting the one that is set. So click or sorry that hit the enter, and you will see the next value for secret access key, and which is matching with the last four letters that it has, and I'll skip this as well. And this is overriding the US East one, which is East one, right? So which is North Virginia now. I'll skip this as well, and my output folder output format is none for now, so I'm happy with that. And next, what is going to be the target is to start using the AWS configure. That means your AWS CLI is working fine. AWS configure is done properly, so that you can use the AWS various commands like S3 API or EC2 commands or RDS related commands or anything else. So if you just hit it, it will show you some of the informative things which will let you get started if you're not familiar with the commands. So AWS help will help you with a lot of options, and alternative can hit the enter to see this different commands that is supporting. So configure, connect, data sync, data pipeline, device farm, direct connect, discovery, deploy. There are a lot of things which are supported: DLB, KMS, Kinesis, Lex, logs. So there are several others which is supported now. So that means you can directly access to the commands, to the services through the commands. Alternatively, you also have the list of commands, this CLI commands, which is in the one single place, which AWS is keeping for all the services. So this is going to be very informative information for you. So I'll make sure to keep that into the description. So this is the one place where you will see all the AWS services which can be consumed through the AWS CLI. So you can call any of these services, and command references can be found inside. So if you go inside, they have the all different flavor of the operations that you can do over the RDS, for instance. So similarly for many others, right? So this is it, folks. Hope you like the session. For people who are using the Linux or Mac, they can use this specific command to get access to the zip folder, which is there in the S3 bucket, which is facilitated by AWS itself. You can download and then use the specific platform-specific command to uncompress and then install it the way your platform supports. So this is all about the stuff here. I'll make sure to copy this into the description so that you will get the access to all the stuff, and then you can try. So you can try the CLI commands and use different services. That's all I have. I hope you enjoyed the video session, and if so, then give a like. If you have any questions, please feel free to write down your questions in the comment. I'll be more than happy to come back on the questions. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video.